We need to load plenty of paint on. There's a great sense of fun mixing the colour. The colour becomes plastery as well by the time you've done. So good scoops of colour, we'll certainly be using most of it. You need to be in full control of the colour at all times. We've got yellow ochre, which is the sandy colour, which interests me a lot over here. We need white to thin that out. We've got burnt sienna, and the final colour for this would be raw umber. That's a very deep earthy, blacky brown, but it's also got a greenish cast to it when it works. I want to work on this this lighter area first, work through towards the darker areas. It's almost a pinky colour, and using yellow ochre and white, let's have a look at yellow ochre mixing in here. White, scoop that in. A little bit of the purple, which sort of greys the colour down a fraction. It takes the sort of strong yellow intensity out of it, which is what I want. And we can bob that into here. Big brush, only slightly damp. We want colour on there. I don't want to run out of it either. And we can have the joy of what I would call banging that onto the paper, running that along. There's the sand, there's the beach. And when we're at the plaster bit, it needs to be well pushed in, otherwise you have the raw white of the plaster showing through, which again I don't particularly want. So that gives me the first area of colour. I want to move through to a much more pinkish colour, so let's take some crimson onto the tray, into that area. Try and keep the colours generally together, although I'm not using too many at the moment, but just a little bit of crimson into that, plus the reddishness, because I want to come towards the pink now, but I don't want it to be a raw pink. That looks quite intense, which it is. And yeah, there's the water from the brush drips off as well. And why not? Want that to be in that area here. And these are really underpaintings, of course. There'll be quite a few more layers of colour, much more colour going on there eventually, but this is just going to get rid of the white and give me some sense of the relationship of the colours together, and put the raw umber into that sort of slightly greenish brown, and because of the greeny content to the brown, it will almost grey that pink that we had before. So once again, mixing that in. You don't want to be painting and then suddenly there's a sort of solid vein of brown coming through. So the mixing, thorough mixing, is really important for the consistency of the colour at this stage. Brush, again, thoroughly clean it up. This time I don't want too much water on, so let's dry that back down a little more. And I have a feeling. Nope, that's going to be okay. I thought it was too light, but it's not. It's relative to what we've got on already. Yes. Those are the areas of colour. Yes. More onto that and feather it in. That's that. Good. Right, underpainting done. We've got a sense of what's going to happen on here. Quite soft and pale and pastel-y colours. That's how it is. The tide's gone out, the sand is soft, and there's a hint of the coral about that, which is what I wanted as well. But this is the area where the rocks would be, the rock pools and things would be in there, and that's the area that I'm going to work with quite dark. But generally I need to let that dry back, because if you start to work on this while it's still damp and you put another damp colour on a damp colour, it'll take it off, it'll wash out what you've got underneath. So you need to, this is the time when you go off and have a cup of tea.